You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Today, the New York Attorney General Letitia James filed a lawsuit to dissolve the National Rifle Association. This follows an 18-month investigation that found evidence that the powerful gun rights group is, quote, fraught with fraud and abuse. The investigation found financial misconduct and millions of dollars that contributed to a loss of more than $64 million over a 3-year period. The suit alleges that top NRA executives misused charitable funds for personal gain, awarded contracts to friends and family members, and provided contracts to former employees to ensure loyalty. The suit names the NRA as a whole, but also names 4 current and former NRA executives. Executive Vice President Wayne LaPierre, General Counsel John Frazer, former Chief Financial Officer Woody Phillips, and former Chief of Staff Joshua Powell. Folks, we have video of that news conference? Okay, I don't know why first of all, let's bring in Greg Carr, which allowed me some time to pull some video up. We should have had that video. Let's go to, so Greg, this suit by James, people may not realize, the NRA, there are 2 groups. You have the NRA nonprofit, and then, of course, you have the NRA that's a 501c4, which allows for them to be able to be engaged in political lobbying, things along those lines. But the foundation, it is headquartered there, was chartered in New York. Donald Trump was asked about it. He said, oh, they should just move to Texas and live great. Not that simple, because when you're chartered in that state, guess who has to give permission for you to get chartered to go somewhere else? The Attorney General. Greg, what do you make of this sister dropping the hammer on the NRA today?
Well, you know, Letitia James is a known quality product of the Howard University School of Law. So, but she came to hustle that way. So, in other words, this is not the one to mess with. I mean, between what Cy Vance is doing and what Letitia James is doing, it's really clear where the man whose mind is melting, what he's preoccupied with. He knows it's just a matter of time before he goes down. In terms of the NRA, you know, whether it be the failure of their NRA TV project or their attempt to brand themselves, Wayne LaPierre been wearing those expensive suits for years. And, you know, there's something about power when you have it, many people, that gives you a sense of impunity, like you can't get got. And I'm glad that you led out the show with Linda Johnson and the Voting Rights Act. I got some good friends who are down in Montgomery right now, actually, took their families down to be there in Montgomery for the celebration of the 55th anniversary of the passage of the Voting Rights Act. And this, once again, is a reminder of why elections matter. Because Letitia James ran for office. It's not an appointed office. So if you want to see change, you better put somebody in here who is capable. And Letitia James will have the scalp of the National Rifle Association on her belt at some point.
This is some of that news conference. Go to my iPad, please.
Over charitable corporations and their trustees, including the NRA. The NRA's influence has been so powerful that the organization went unchecked for decades, while top executives funneled millions into their own pockets. For years, the NRA diverted millions and millions of dollars away from its charitable mission for personal use by senior leadership, to award contracts to the financial gain of close associates and family, and appeared to dole out lucrative no-show contracts to former employees in order to buy their silence and continued loyalty. This lawsuit specifically charges the NRA as a whole, in addition to 4 individual defendants. 1, the first individual, longtime Executive Vice President Wayne LaPierre, who has been the face of the NRA for decades. 2, former Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer, Wilson Woody Phillips. 3, former Chief of Staff and the Executive Director of Operations, Joshua Powell. And 4, Corporate Secretary and General Counsel John Frazer. These individuals in the NRA are charged with failing to manage the NRA's funds and failing to follow numerous state and federal laws, which contributed to the loss of more than $64 million in just 3 years. Since its founding in 1871, the NRA...
Reese, that is, again, a significant indictment. And again, she says she wants them dissolved.
Absolutely. And I have to let my petty flag fly here because I recall when the New York Times endorsed Zephyr Teachout over Tish James. I recalled when Tish James was running for office, they tried to make it seem like she was going to be some kind of lackey to Governor Cuomo. But the world and the country saw today what happens when #Black women lead. She is fearless. She has her shit together, and she's going to take them down. And guess what? I know a person who is sweating bullets, as Erica says it best, the son of a Klansman, because she has the Trump organization and all his criminal activity in her crosshairs as well. And so this is just the opening salvo for anything that Tish James is capable of. So beware.
And this shows the importance, Erica, of state attorneys generals, why they matter. Again, everybody keeps focusing on what's happening in the nation's capital. Remember, Keith Ellison left a congressional seat with them in the majority to become the attorney general of the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Carr said it. Reese has invoked and laid the hammer down. Listen, elections matter. And when Tip O'Neill said decades ago that all politics are local, they're also very much so personal. When we think about the NRA, the Senate Democrats filed a report back in September of 2019 outlining the Finance Committee outlining in a 77-page document the NRA's involvement with Moscow. And this is talking about before the run-up to the 2016 elections, right? So when we think about the malfeasance, when we think about the fleecing of America, when we think about how the NRA quickly pivoted to a white men-only drinking fountain, as it were, now in this modern time, and have flown to the Caribbeans and taken African safaris with their families, and have spent an exorbitant amount of money. Meanwhile, the Senate, Republicans led by Mitch McConnell, still have not came to an agreement around continuing to support Americans during a public health crisis and an economic and housing crisis. So this is what people need to actually see and sit with and understand. As you have said, as Dr. Carr, as Reese said, elections matter. Vote is a verb. Get prepared, get ready to vote, unless we want to see kind of the same running along that we continue to see in the fleecing of America, meanwhile telling you to abide by the rules.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. Virtual reality headsets right here. All you do is pop your cell phone right into here, and then you can watch the content, the virtual reality content on their website, seek.com. You can also watch videos in 360 degree, and so this is what that particular headset is. And then, of course, they have these great headphones here, these seek.com headphones. Mira Speedo is a sister from Ghana. She, of course, is the inventor of these 360 degree 4D sound, unbelievable. Gamers love these headsets. The bass is off the chain. Of course, it has a microphone where you can also speak, Bluetooth as well. And so you can also use that for conversations, for music, for videos, whatever you want to use. And so you get to of course get a discount because you watch Roland Martin Unfiltered. Use this promo code right here, RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020 when you go to seek.com, CEEK.com. And so we want you, of course, to support the Black-owned companies that also support what we do here at Roland Martin Unfiltered.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.